What's going on, everybody? This is going to be a one-off sort of stream, but I'll have the ability to have a conversation with you, the chat, and all these other various things. So it should be pretty exciting. Just sort of looking over the news and basically just testing out this format, making sure that it works so that in the future we can have guests on. Of course, this is not OBS. This is the standard sort of way of doing it, I guess. But for now, this will have to work. Then there won't be a need to give away my stream key to people. Man, nothing wrong with having that sort of interaction with the audience. And I can, of course, read over some of the different Bitcoin cryptocurrency news, up to and including when we'll finally be able to maybe get a better setup. But like I said, for now, this will do. Live viewers, we got seven people in here. It's pretty cool. I gotta just fix some of these settings on here. But yeah, I mean, I have been meaning to come on here and go do these lives for y'all. How's it going, Vision? Yep, just getting the logistics set up. Looks like we got a pretty good stream coming in. Also, the cool thing about this is it enables me to yeah, well, so basically what we're going to do is invite guests on and stuff like that, because the issue that I was running into, hey, DigiByte, yeah, DigiByte is pretty cool. Yeah, so essentially what this will enable me to do is basically get around the different issues that I was suffering from when I was using OBS. We had like a lagging issue, but for now, the StreamYard seems like it's going to be the way to go as far as definitely getting guests on in the future and getting more viewer interaction and stuff like that. My favorite thing about it is the fact that it just really easy to use. StreamYard's definitely the way to go. Be free XRP. Yeah, XRP is pretty dope. I gotta say, I like XRP. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know XRP gets some haters, but I really don't see anything wrong with it. I think we're all sort of in the same boat. Well, all right. It looks like we're going to be getting a guest on here. We're going to be getting my friend Script Skynet. I guess will be coming on very shortly. I just got to invite him, but still, yeah, this will be exciting. It looks like he just messaged me on Twitter. He gave me sort of that one-off. I might need to restart the stream. Well, let's see if we could do. Click the two people. Oh, invite. Oh, there it is. Copy. See what he says. We can get him on here. That'd be pretty cool. Make things more exciting. Blah blah blah. Here you go. There you go. StreamYard for professionals. That's the name of this website. At least then I won't be sitting here blathering on, talking to myself. We can actually have actual guests on, which will be cool, especially for future reference. And of course, longevity of the channel, being able to make more content in the way of a lot of these different things. So certainly interesting. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Script Skynet? I sent you the invite on Twitter. So, private chat, board. Just not really sure how. If you open that link, hey, there it is. Add to stream. There you go. Hey, what's good?
What's up?
Not much. What are you using your phone?
Yeah, I can use my phone. I just can't stream and have people link to it because of the bandwidth. But I can join you when you go live, and it won't slow your bandwidth.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a good use for the future. I just figured I like Streamlabs. My freaking problem was like OBS was like just it had like this lagging problem, but I don't seem to have that problem with the damn StreamYards thing. So cheers.
Yeah, I'm glad. I won you over.
Where are you driving?
I was actually leaving work, and I was going to get ready to go to the dinner party, but I have about 20 minutes I can talk with you.
Yeah, what's the news? What have you been hearing about with DigiByte?
Well, I know there's a lot of good projects going on, and they're hush hush. How about that?
Yeah. I was watching when your cryptocurrently stream was pretty interesting.
I
Um
was watching when you're
what you guys were talking about with blockchain. Hey, cryptocurrently's here.
He's here. He's in the chat.
Yeah, he's in the chat. What's up, crypto?
Hey, Face. Do you
Yeah.
do you hear? I hear an echo. Is your speaker on too loud?
No, I just turned my phone on because you're quiet in my microphone, and I was like trying to make sure that your voice would come. But all I heard was myself. I sound really loud, but I don't know if cryptocurrently wants to tell. He said came in at a good time. How's the volume, Matt? Is the volume his volume about equal to mine, or is one of them like more distorted?
Yeah, my a lot of times, I noticed all my visitors had really good uh, mic sound quality. So, and
Oh,
this is a
he said it's good.
yeah, this
He
is a
likes
test
it.
from my mobile device. So I don't know if I sound good on it or not. I can even step
Well,
away.
your setup at your house is good enough. So when we do like a Matt, we got to have you come on too. We could do like a three person chat. We could get banned immediately because we'll have to get onto some ridiculous topics.
Yeah, so I want to respect your channel phase. I'm not trying to upset mom and pa, but
Yeah. Well, I just figure that it's best to like when we talk about like the topics, like everybody already knows. Like we don't have to go full Alex Jones on people, and try to bring out the documents on the real on the coup or whatever and like really piss off the overlords as you put it last time. You know what I like? I find that it's like best to kind of like I mean when we talk about the internet, it's like oftentimes we get into that like doom and gloom um conversation,
I'm actually having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if it's on my side or your side.
huh. Huh. Oh well, yeah, we must be getting they must be shutting us down already. yeah,
I
what was that?
I am on. You were kind of like you were cutting out, but I am on a side of the town where I have bad reception. So I don't know if it was me or.
Oh, that's cool, man. It's just good to have you on. I'm just honestly, that you showed me that this StreamYard app is actually a pretty cool device.
Yeah.
I just spilt rum all over myself.
Oh man.
Yeah, what a waste. It's like eggnog rum or whatever. It's
Maybe
a
I can
little
go like
sweet for me, but
that. There we go.
yeah, how'd you find this platform? The guy who runs the StreamYard has a YouTube channel. That's what I thought that you thought that I was StreamYard when you first hit me up. You said something about StreamYard and I looked it up. I'm like, no, that's not me. Because you
No,
thought that I had
no.
that.
So no, StreamYard. A lot of people are using it. It's probably the best, easiest platform to use. Right out of the gate,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's actually got good features like background overlays and stuff like that.
Yeah, the thing I like the most about it is like you're right in the action. Like there's no like with OBS, it like gives you it's almost too customizable. But like StreamYard is like we can really run with this. Like it get as OBS, I'm like just get all jumbled up with the settings and stuff, and it's like I would have literally been sitting here with technical difficulties for 45 minutes just trying to get you here with your. It would have never happened. I would have never, I would have been like jumbling around, just juggling all the different elements of the site, and trying to mesh with YouTube. This way, I don't have to give you the stream key. I could just literally
Yeah.
stream directly off of this when we what is it? What do you want to do that tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do that. So Monday nights at 8 o'clock to 9, I'm busy. But if you can get me, let's see, you at 6 and me at 7, we can do that for an hour, or after if you don't mind late nights. But and then Thursday, the same deal. Actually, Thursday night, I'm literally taking up until like 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock I'm free. So like Mondays and Thursdays I'm free after 9 o'clock. So that's 8 o'clock your time.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have this now that I'm like getting into like the live setup and stuff like that. I kind of have this like vision for this channel is like we could do like a nightly live show or like like maybe a couple times a week. I could have you on as like a guest or like a co-host sometimes, or like, like we could both network and find people who might be interested in talking about like, I mean, we don't even have to limit ourselves to just like anything tech related, I think, really, and then try to and just sort of sneak DigiByte in on the conversation and stuff. It'd be cool to advance all of our audiences, using that kind of tool. Yeah, have people on. We just gotta only have people we trust.
I don't have a character there. That's funny.
Yeah, because it's your cell phone, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's linked to whatever whatever. I don't know.
I think I could give you one.
Uh, I would just have to leave it on the cam.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a way to do it. We just got to figure it out. Oh, who's this? AMIR DigiByte coin. No, that's just an account. But he said I could not sell all my XRP because 20 hostages were taken. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories out there. Everybody has their own walk of life, and sometimes
Yeah.
if we don't know them, we don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I like having people on who I trust. We don't have to worry about them saying some like crazy shit. 20
That's
XRP
kind of
locked out of Matt's wallet. He said everybody has those. Oh, blocked. He said, no, I don't know what you mean. AMIR, you were blocked. Everybody, dude, I probably lost like at least $1,000 off of just my own mismanaging. No, way more than that because I'm locked out of so. And then if you just think about like what they were worth when you had them, just lost passwords or just being a total disorganized schlub with my digital assets, I'd have so much more if I wasn't, if I just could clean my room and wipe my nose, basically, and I just,
it's a learning curve because
especially when the freaking back and even now, I mean, yeah, it's 20K again for a Bitcoin. So, the disappointment level that my family has for me for those lost coins it spikes with the value. You could kind of tell like when it's 3,000 I only lost like a few $100, but now that it's 20K I've lost like now it's back to like I've lost $1,000, and when it's 500K I'll have lost a house. It's like whatever, the different valuations of it.
Let's see. Well, if Matt is watching now, can't you send him a link through Twitter? Are you following Matt?
I could send Matt a link if he wants one. I'll send him
Yeah.
the same one I sent you.
yeah. That's how you do it. Let's see if since he's watching. Let's see. He doesn't have to show. He doesn't have to show
Yeah,
us
I'll
that
just send
he's
it to him if he's
like
still
doing
there.
something.
Let me see.
Yeah.
CryptoCurrently. All right, there he is. Oh yeah, 4. Yeah, that's what I. All right, Matt. I'm sending you an invitation from a. I don't know if you are familiar with this account, but it's there. It's from the DigiByte one with the numbers after it. I don't know if you follow me on there, but if he wants to join, he'll pop up on this little thing down here, and we'll have him. Wow, 20 concurrent people. Wow, that's. Oh no, he said I'm listening while playing. Oh, he's playing with his kids or something like that. He's too busy. But still, we got 20
Oh,
concurrent. That's pretty sick, actually. I didn't expect that. I mean, that's the beauty of a live feed that's uninterrupted. That's like usually when I get on here on OBS, it's like I'll get like one person and then they'll tell me that it's lagging and then they'll be like, sorry, man. And then they'll end up, or just end up people like tick in and out. But like this StreamYard thing is definitely a hidden gem. There's the sky's the limit, especially when we all tweet it out. We could do we could all just sort of tweet at the same time and tell people where to find it and then like get like, 3 more people or whatever.
what kind of mic are you using?
This thing, I don't know. It's from my closet. It's got an R on it. I don't know the name anymore.
I'm for some reason I'm getting your on your volume, or not volume, sorry. I'm getting static on your side. I don't know if it's because I'm joining by phone, but like sometimes you cut out like really bad.
Huh.
Does anybody notice that? Say yes. Put Y in the chat if you guys notice that Face kind of crackled out, or if I crackled out. Let us know.
Yeah, because on my end, yours. I mean, it won't matter when we do it. When we actually have like the official show, because you'll be on your mic. Oh, Matt said it's your phone.
Could it be?
Yeah, because I just think that I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's just a one and off. This is like just like a phone conversation that we're doing live anyway. Just like plans for the future. With the whole community and stuff. But yeah, the sky is the limit. Yeah, this guy's black stuntman says it's good for him.
Okay, good. Then it's my phone, man. That's kind of weird. So we'll just
He's a
we'll just
stuntman.
not use
That's
the phone.
the stuntman profession is going out of business from the CGI. Like the new Willy Wonka movie, they had all the Oompa Loompas were CGI. They don't hire actual freaking Oompa Loompas anymore.
Oh, poor Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, I know. They're all
Or like Willows. The Willow, that guy that played Willow, played the Leprechaun.
the leprechaun. Oh, that guy. That was a kid, wasn't it? That's the kid from
No, that was a little guy.
Oh, well, you know what he was in though? He was his other famous role was what's it called? He was the Ewok. He was the little
Yes,
Ewok that
yes,
helped Han Solo. Yeah. He was a kid
yeah.
in that
That
one.
guy, yeah,
Had a
yeah.
long and lustrous.
He was a young kid in that one, but he had dwarfism. Yeah.
Uh, I swear that but I swear I heard a story that he won that he won a contest off of like a cereal box, and that's how he got the role as the Ewoks, and that's how he started his whole movie career, was through winning some like cut the cereal box cover off and mail it in, and George Lucas picked him because he was such a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. And then oh yeah, the black stuntman said that's why he moved to crypto, because he used to be a stuntman apparently, and now he.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate the opportunity. I saw a weird comment the other day from like the video that I uploaded yesterday, where I was sort of I started. I don't know if you watched the one that I made yesterday, but I think it's Argentina. It just put out this. Their legislation or whatever just passed new tax on anybody who has over like $1 million.
Oh yeah, the $1 million tax. Yeah.
The wealth. Did you see the news thing on it, or are you familiar with when the news about it dropped? Or
No.
if you're a millionaire, then it's to help like with the pandemic relief fund. And I'd imagine. I mean, I don't know. I'm not very familiar with like Argentina. But when I was talking about it, I was like framing the my perception of the news almost sarcastically. But I was saying like how it is sort of a I mean, it is a big advertisement for crypto. One point that I made in there was like, it sort of is an advertisement for cryptocurrency because like nobody's going to want to use fiat when like fiat's treated that way. But I had a really dystopian comment on there with somebody who was talking about how like blockchain and stuff like that will be sort of like a highway like a fast track highway for like big brother to like it's almost he was almost saying like all the different I mean it overlapped with what we were talking about when we were speaking on the similar topic previously about like regulations and stuff like that and sort of how like a lot of the different is he wrote like a long paragraph on there and I wish I had it in front of me I could read it off but there certainly is a when I was listening to you and Matt having your conversation about like the different ways that blockchain and the sort of Pandora's box of cryptocurrency being open, the different ways that it could be abused, uh, just sort of I mean it's sort of like a sandbox theory but it is interesting to think about those sort of but still that Argentina thing was scary as hell and all the people in there talking about at Joe Biden like saying like oh we need this in our country like or just like saying like cheers like all the like clapping emojis and stuff like that like this is disturbing.
Yeah, we. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that how could they start their own deal, which they probably will, and and I mean, you would really have to stifle out what's already been established, and I don't think people would want to do that. I mean, if you got
Uh-huh.
proven technology,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
you know what I was
I
saying?
don't think people are
Yeah,
for it.
like you look at Singapore like Singapore, I say this pretty often. I try to, this is sort of, yeah, I think the silver lining is, well, I mean, we live in the US, you, me, and Matt, we live in the US, but, so we have sort of a Western centric, perspective on the whole thing. But ultimately, you got to think about it like you live in if you live in Singapore like they're creating like they're getting crypto on steroids they're getting like millionaire refugees fleeing the west and coming to these other countries because of the draconian the measures that are like we suffer under or at least the ones that are here to come so it is interesting to think about like uh you look at all the red tape that like Britain or even like US, Canada, all these different places put up all this Bitcoin red tape because the infrastructure is already there. And then at the same time, these developing countries are chomping at the bit to get rid of crypto regulations. And really, all that it means is that US tech supremacy is basically going to fall by the wayside. Well, all these abuses from Silicon Valley and all these different things are perpetrated. I mean, we were talking about this during our stream too, which was like the emergence of alt tech and the fact that like BitChute and Minds and all these other alternative social media platforms that are now just springing up are stationed in Europe. They're not like then you look at like Silicon Valley, like moving over to Beijing, and all these other things. Or was it Beijing? Like, but it is an interesting sort of look into the future. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's got to be my phone, man. You were cutting out bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. It must be your. I don't know. I feel like I got my point across though. So next time we talk, I'll be able to. I'm sure people are just enjoying watching you shake your phone around rather than just look at my Squidward emoji. Anyway,
Yeah, well, because I'm trying to hear you. I'm like, what is he saying?
yeah. Michelangelo says he's asking if you feel like we're going to turn into a prison country.
Uh, well, you mean, well, now you're going deep there because there's FEMA camps. There's like, okay, so I live in Missouri. There's 26 FEMA camps. They call them FEMA camps because they're ready to be inhabited with prisoners, and no one really knows what kind of prisoners. So it's just like
Hmm.
just in case. That's a lot of FEMA camps. That's a lot of camps. A lot of
Yeah.
prisons being built.
Huh. You know what they say. Well, you know what I heard uh, on Twitter. There was like a clip of the Australian um, prime minister or
Yeah.
whatever she's called. You ever watch that? And she was laughing. For those of you who haven't heard it, she was laughing about the fact that if you fail to quarantine for a certain amount of time, then you get kept there for an extra 14 days if you don't take the shot or some if you don't basically follow their will or whatever. So interesting times we live in, definitely. I personally I hey, what's up, Phil Jung is here saying
So
yeah, but
my perspective is yes. I mean, there's a lot of hush hush stuff going on in Australia, but in Canada, check this out, and it's like this in parts of China too. So keep this in mind. Um, if they so in okay, so if you refuse to wear a mask, or say that the COVID doesn't exist, or you think it's government control, they will quarantine you, and they call it educational centers. The
mm,
educational centers are literal prisons, and they'll keep you there for indefinite time. And it doesn't
mm-hmm.
matter if it's 14 days or not. Like, if you are against what they are trying to tell you, as in the government,
Yeah, well,
if
isn't
you
that
don't
a great
believe,
idea? I
yeah,
think, yeah, education's always a good idea.
education, they'll keep you in there and educate you.
Yeah.
It's what
Isn't that what Joe was talking about during his inauguration speech? He was saying that education is going to be the biggest part of his
Oh
or
man,
something.
it's
Yeah,
already in
it's a,
Canada. It's being pushed in Canada.
yeah.
um the harshest strict lockdowns was in uh Australia.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah, I was gonna say that. You know, the funny thing about Australia though is I have a friend who lives in Australia. Uh and she said that it's simultaneously the strictest and the in other states, or I don't know what they call it, but consider like one part of Australia is a state. They have it's regional. They don't even have mask mandates in restaurants or whatever. But they only have to wear a mask when they go to see a doctor in certain parts of Australia. But then you drive 2 hours or whatever across the continental Australia, basically, and then you get yeah, the worst of the dystopian vision of medical fascism that you could really ever
So my
imagine.
the closest thing that we got to it is okay, so California is the worst, man. My mom lives in California. They had the harshest uh, lockdowns rules. So now they're the governor's saying that you cannot even leave the state, or people come in either hand
Mm,
or foot, bicycle, car, yeah, planes. They are literally going to keep the residents there because everybody's leaving.
yeah. Well, my friend, one of my best friends lives there in California. And we have a debate all the time about like whether California is the worst or whether Massachusetts is the worst. Uh, and like they're both pretty bad in different ways, and it's interesting to see, like, because we're both on, you basically get like total opposite ends of the continental US liberalism like, and then sort of like the autism of liberalism at its different perspectives from like across, like, I think that definitely probably California and Mass. I would say California is probably much worse, but I don't know. We're all sort of headed there. What about your state? Do you guys have the 10 o'clock? You can't leave the house past 10 p.m. yet?
No,
You don't?
we have the on holidays. But like Walmart is closed at 9 or 10. But no, we bars are closed on holidays at 9 or 10. But not so actual establishments need it. I for some reason need to close early because that's how people get spreading the virus. I mean, be careful because if you stay like 1 minute late in that bar, you might get COVID.
Oh, I know
So
it comes. It's known to come out after this.
yeah, that's when COVID starts coming out with its vampire teeth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah,
lock
out
it
here,
down.
yeah, out here,
That's it.
COVID comes out after 5. If you stay in your house up until 5 a.m., COVID gets up for work pretty early. So, or he
Yeah,
goes to bed or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and it doesn't come out in large crowds. It
Only
only
if you're
comes out
protest.
within your own home with your kids.
Yeah, thanks. Around thanks, he loves to show up for Thanksgiving, and
Yeah, yeah.
in
But
schools
so
and
true, man. The rules are ridiculous. If they don't line up, you might as well just toss the rule out because it just doesn't work. Now, Missouri is really lenient where now it's the discretion of like gas stations or restaurants to tell you to wear a mask because they're under some kind of restriction policy. But um like that's it. I mean, masks and social distancing, and no one really respects any of it out here. If you don't want to go to that store, you don't have to because that's just, I mean, what I'm saying. I think a lot of businesses are still open. They still have their regulations of according to the whatever the governor says. But we're pretty lenient. I mean,
Missouri. I can imagine just the name. Just like the fact that you just, the reputation of the state, you have a pretty nice state, Missouri, I can imagine. Just comparatively by, overall, like the culture.
so Missouri, yeah,
Oh, Michelangelo says COVID attacks at 10:01.
yeah, 10:01, then you're dead,
Yeah.
or you're the plague now. So, but Missouri, yeah, they call it misery because there's no oceans out here, you know.
Oh.
Apparently, or mountains. It's all flat lands for the most part, and but there's a bunch of trees and lakes, so there's not really too much of a difference there. It's just you're in the middle of the United States.
Hmm.
But I mean, reign of the free thinkers and Baptists. Like,
How many hours away is the nearest ocean from you?
yeah. So that's where I am. I'm in like the Bible Belt, bro. Like,
Yeah, by the way, I don't know what you did with your audio, but it's coming in a lot better on my end.
what's that?
I don't know what you did with your audio, but you fixed it. It's coming in a lot louder for me. I know mine looks like it's still struggling to get to you, but
I can barely hear you, bro.
yeah, I know. And
Oh wait, now I can
your
hear.
your audio is coming in clear as day to me. Is what I was saying. Like you fixed. I don't know what you did, but you fixed it, and it's coming a lot better.
Well, I left Quick Trip for some reason. The gas station doesn't have it blocks data services.
Yeah, it's because you're mobile. Yeah, just dealing
But
with.
ain't that strange? Like, I'm mobile, but every Quick Trip I go to, every gas station that says Quick Trip in the Midwest, it literally blocks my phone for service.
Huh.
It
Yeah.
doesn't. It's strange, man.
Huh. Yeah, what do what I was hearing about was like do you ever hear like those things that people have been saying like the 5G failure, like 5G like is like, as I remember I used to hear about it on the news and shit like that, and everybody was talking about it, and they were like, even the conspiracy tards would talk about like 5G, like that it was going to be everywhere all at once, and then I feel like everybody just kind of like gave up on. I don't know, there was some issue with it, like there's some just like thing that went wrong with with it. I'm pretty sure because like I know it's still they're still aiming for it, but it's like the
So, you want me to tell you what's going on in the Midwest?
yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of 5G towers. There's a couple at the Chief Stadium, and at the Royal Stadium. Now, it's not everywhere in Kansas City, but I run a company called that does auto body repair and paint, and we work for this company that builds crane trucks. So they have like bucket trucks and large cranes off their trucks, you know. So, but they established a really good contract with this company that is going to start building 5G towers. Now, that's on hold because what they're saying is because of COVID.
Mm.
So, there's like this huge, massive plan to put up tons of towers in the Midwest. And yeah, they want to do it, but it's on hold right now.
Huh. You know what's funny about that though? See, in my backyard, because I basically live like in the woods, and I live like right next to the city, but my house is in the woods, and down the woods from us, like right basically in my backyard, because my property line's like 16 acres. So once you right after that, they used COVID as an excuse to cut down all the forests, and they're building a solar farm over there.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Oh, we're going to save the planet with solar power, but we need to cut down this whole forest. We're going to save the planet, but first we need to consume all the natural resources to build it.
Yeah. Well, that's going green 101, I guess, right?
Go green. Go green.
The
That's what a lot of people don't understand. There was okay, so back in the 1800s and the late 1800s and early 1900s, there was this like freaking like logger union, and they logged all the northern part of the northern parts of America, like so from New York down to Washington and California. They logged all the redwoods, all of them,
yeah.
every one of them. Now these are ancient sequoias, okay? So, but the last redwood forest is at the redwood forest. It's called Redwood Forest in Northern California. This is like the last ancient sequoia forests. There's and it's not very big, bro.
I feel
And
bad for the trees, man.
you want to know? You want to know why those trees? These are the trees that they had a tunnel in the tree. You can drive through it. There's a highway through it. Well, that
They
tree.
cut those down. A
Yeah,
lot of
dude.
them. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Now check this out. They
They
were
must have a couple
old
of them.
trees.
They must have a few of them left, huh? They got one or
They
two.
have a. They do. They have a few forests left, but there's one ancient forest. It's called the Redwood Forest, and that's in Northern California, 20
Yeah.
miles away from the bay. But what you got to understand is the reason why that is still there is because tree huggers tied themselves, or no, they chained and handcuffed themselves to it.
Huh.
And it was so crazy because they wanted to save the trees because they're ancient. And the police were literally like using mace and pepper spray in their eyes while they're chained. They're harmless people. They're just want to save the trees. So the loggers can keep logging, but they won. They won. Now
Yeah.
that's where the term tree huggers come from.
Oh, really? That's a California. That's your place, right? That's Minnesota or
Yeah,
something.
they chain themselves and handcuffs themselves to protect the last ancient redwood forest in California.
Huh. Oh, California. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it sucks to suck. People don't do shit like that. People don't have the time of day. I don't know. They'd want to get it on social media or something, if they wanted to do that these days. That's a good story, though. I remember the freaking. Yeah, it's the money, stupid. That's kind of the.
So I just got home. I'm going to.
Yeah, you got to
Can
get
you hear
ready
me?
for your dinner.
So I can't hear you very well, but I'm going to join the link that
Oh,
you sent
cool.
me.
Yeah, then you could get on your
At my house.
actual. Oh, it's got a little
So
StreamYard
getting
logo,
back.
huh?
Let me see if I can get this on. Because I think I'd hear you better if I get on. Let's see here. Oh, get rid
Huh.
of this. Go over here.
Yeah, I'll have to. Well, I'll probably just have you on with double for before, so I don't lose you.
Okay, what is going on here? Oh,
Yeah, just click it, attempt to join, and
yeah. So we do have something to talk about, but let me get this here. All right, I'm going to get off here, and then I'll join.
yeah, whichever one you want to do first. I'd recommend trying to join first and
Well,
then get off. But
I have the stream right here.
yeah, click it. Click the little link I sent you on Twitter.
There it is.
There you go. Oh, wow, easy.
Easy peasy, man.
You should get one of those soundproof walls like Matt had in your interview with him.
For sure.
That's a cool mic, dude. That's what I need for Christmas.
It's
Freaking
$56 at Best Buy or whatever.
really, what kind is that? With the DigiByte on top and everything?
Oh no, I cut that out and put it there.
What is it? Little plushie?
JLab.
Oh, that's the people that got it.
Yeah,
That's pretty
JLab.
cool.
JLab is the name of the company. Okay, so something
We
I
should
am
pay you.
doing. I'm like I had to shut it down, but I downloaded a virtual box, Linux virtual box on my Windows 64-bit or Windows 10 64, and I'm running a DigiByte node so I can mine with the script algo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, it's
How's
calm.
that been going?
Well, I literally stayed up until 2:00 in the morning, and I had to just call it quits. I'm in a Discord channel that we all help each other, so I'm getting that worked out.
Is it stress free, or have you been? Has it been?
Well, once I learn how to do it, I think I'll be an expert.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of that stuff is that's what there's like that. Like was talking about earlier, the learning curve and shit, and then you know.
Yeah, but you know what? Once I learn it, then I can help people.
Yeah, I shared this great guy who heats his house mining Bitcoin.
Yeah. You're
He's got
talking
the
about
heater.
Silvertooth.
Is it? I don't know. It was just a Twitter
Yeah,
video I
that's
saw.
Silvertooth.
Okay.
He's mining DigiByte, and then one is for Bitcoin. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple. I mean, it's on the market, so I'm sure there's plenty of different content creators who brag about it.
Well, there if you're using an S9 SHA-256, S9 amp miner, if you don't join a pool that you combine your hash power with them to smash out some blocks, the chances are for you to use a S9, which is an old model, and mine your own node, your own pool, the chances are to get a block on Bitcoin is nil. Nil to
Yeah,
nil.
especially after the halving. Well, the more recent one.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, but that he wants to do it. He does have also an S9 that's mining DigiByte, so he's definitely get payouts with DigiByte.
Yeah, that's another one of the big selling points for DigiByte is just sort of the people just getting sort of priced out of Bitcoin as time goes on. You know, a lot of the big players with mining now are people who own who like redo their nuclear facility, or you know, these big, like the guy who had that thing in New York. I forgot what it used to be, but he ended up he had a problem with like electricity or something, so he ended up just mining Bitcoin because like he had like a lot of left. You hear that story? Remember that guy? I forget what it was exactly. It wasn't a nuclear reactor or something like that, but or it was like water. He ended up, but he might like my point is those are the big players now, are the people who have like a lot of energy to just kind of throw their weight around. And you know, especially when you look at like the digital arms race now that's sort of happening, you know, with like cryptocurrency in general, is like you look at like China like trying to position themselves to like be the future leaders in like tech, as opposed to like I guess that sort of does lend itself to that point that I was making earlier about like Singapore, and how like a lot of these more developed countries are sort of pricing themselves out of the future paradigm with their red tape, with their regulations, and just sort of the mode of operations in general. And especially what we see in Argentina and crap like that is definitely a great example. No, I don't know much about Argentina either, but it's eerie to see people on there cheering them on. Like the I don't understand how. I mean, I've heard people say like, you know, don't worry about it. Like Twitter is just an echo chamber. It's not like it doesn't necessarily represent like what the average person thinks. But then again, like the average person doesn't engage with this stuff. You know what I mean? Like people kind of just go to work and are too tired to really know what's going on. That's one of the things that I think was made very prevalent in with the you know every political season. You really learn how ill informed your peers are. I think, yeah, like your coworkers and stuff.
I think, you know, I think they say echo chamber. If you're like in some, you know, group, and you're just rehashing the same thing over and over and over. You know, an echo chamber, sure. Like you say something and someone else hears it, and then someone else hears it, and someone else hears it. But I would have to say, you know, implying that we're all just in that little chamber and you're not getting out. But I would have to say, you know, all social media platforms have, you know, ways that people can bring forth topics, uh, just coherent dialogue. I mean, I
Yeah.
would say they're all useful in their
Um, I'm just kind
structure.
of I'm just sort of holding Twitter's feet to the fire, because I think like the original usage of Twitter, like you know what we would have imagined, like what Twitter used to be, is sort of all that it has going for it now, and like all the ways that it's changed over the years are sort of are really the worst things about it, like the way that they get older and then they evolve. Same, you know, with YouTube updates and stuff.
So I did do some research about after we had that talk on my channel about YouTube changing so much. Um, it would be cool if YouTube could, when you're downloading YouTube, or about to form an account, it'd be cool to use, you know, the old 2011,
Yeah,
or you know, 2009 version, or whatever, or even older, 2008. But
that's I was yeah.
yeah, and you know, but the thing is, like they literally changed it to, and if you did, if Phase, you know this, if you didn't see the progression, and what the plan was, I think they had a plan when Google bought it, and the progression was to make it more commercialized
Mm.
and controlled. So because everybody was going there, they saw how big it was going to be. They saw the potential for them to control it and not let it be free. Like I remember. So I remember that used to get like videos from anybody, like people that just joined, you'd see like their video, but now you don't get that unless if you're, you have status or more likes or more people subscribed or, and then they throw a ton of commercials in your face. Not just within the video, but it's all commercialized. What kind of content you get, and they really changed it. They changed it for foreign policy, politics, news. Now they're saying, well, the only real news is Fox, CNN, and ABC, and all these, CBS, and all this, and aliens. So they want to get 9/11 off there. They want to get aliens off there.
I think they like aliens. I'd argue that they want more alien shit, honestly.
Well, but Secure Team 10, remember Secure Team?
No, was that a YouTuber?
Yeah, a big one.
I was never really into the alien. I have my own alien.
So he did research on old, like, Project Blue Book all the way to, just sightings. So Secure Team 10 doesn't air anymore. In fact, he got so big, I think one of his videos, he touched on something and they arrested him and was beating him all night, actually for 2 weeks. And then they let him free, basically telling him, stop talking about whatever he's talking about, aliens. I think what happened was he revealed something that he didn't know about. He was just talking about it, and then they literally beat him into submission.
Well, okay, so I have a good question here. I have it in the chat that I was actually meaning to ask you about it. What are your thoughts on the concept, or have you heard of the comment says, I'm getting ready for the fake alien invasion. Now, have you heard of that? And where would you fall in that?
Well, okay. So right out of the gate, I study the Bible. Now there's two things:
the deception
and the truth. So the truth is, as hard as it is, just look at the what it really is. Okay, so just for transparency and a little bit of knowledge, if no one knows, but Jesus Christ, okay, was born of a virgin that was impregnated by the Holy Ghost, was found favor of God, which is somewhere else. God's somewhere else, and then was impregnated a virgin, and there you had the Lord Jesus Christ was by the seed of God, which was the promised Messiah, right? So that's alien. And then the fallen angels in Genesis, they were called the sons of God, which are not to be confused with the sons of God in Jesus Christ. But the sons of God, which they were fallen angels that left their first estate followed Lucifer, that wanted to be like the Most High, and they left their first estate. So that estate was not Earth; it was up there. So, and they came in and mated with the men's children, like their wives, and they took wives of their choosing, and out of that came giants. Now, look at that and say, okay, that's not alien. It's either spirits, alien. They were called angels, left their first estate. They had an estate. They came from somewhere else, and then look how Jesus died, and he rose again, and then ascended to heaven. That's alien, man. That's alien.
So, all right. So, how would you? I think that the deception, when people refer to like the alien deception, they kind of talk about like what's it called? I don't know. They there's like this weird. I guess it's a conspiracy theory that like what's gonna happen, where we're headed is like the news and stuff. Like we're gonna get like this sort of like Elon Musk kind of like alien enemy that's like gonna get us on like lockdown kind of thing. But so we'll get back to that topic. That is too much of a multifaceted topic, and I think it does bring out a lot of our like we get too meta when we talk about it like that. But I would say, what do you think about the show Ancient Aliens? Do you think they're like a deceptive show, or do you think that they're spitting facts?
So the reason why I mentioned just by observation, if you read the Bible, the reason why I mentioned that first was because we have to have some groundwork what we think is angels, evil spirits, and aliens. Okay, not all aliens are malevolent, and they're not all benevolent. So there's good spirits and bad spirits, and they come from a different place. Okay, and now the reason why I state that first is because now there's going to be a great deception on the earth. Okay, regardless if you're in Christ or out of Christ, or if you know what I'm saying. So when you talk about deception, there is going to be a deception on the planet, on the world, that the Bible warns us about the Antichrist and how he's going to rule and reign here. He's going to get all the nations agreeing with him. He's going to be this great orator. We all know the Antichrist, this great person that's going to solve world issues and poverty and pestilence. He's going to have all the right answers. He's going to be a political figure. And this is the son of the devil. Now, what happens is how he comes to being. Okay. The Bible talks about in Revelation that the great red dragon is cast down to earth and becomes a man. That's alien. Okay. That's basically, you can call it allegorical, but I believe it's actual truth and facts out of the Bible. Now let's remove the Bible out of it. Okay. What the great deception in that conversation about the aliens. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now the government is part of that. Just take what I said about the Antichrist and all that, but take now on our side, on Earth's view, what we're seeing today. We are used to deceptions. We are used to being our planet, our cities being destroyed, wars and all this crazy weather and all this stuff, and what potentially could be disastrous. But there will be a deception of aliens. That's why the Space Force is being developed. I mean, okay, there's two ways to look at that too. We're looking at it from a mindset, we need to hurry up and colonize the moon, go to Mars, so we can be the first to do that because America's liberty and justice for all. Listen, there's a deception already working there. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or Biden, that there's a deception already in the works. Yeah. And here's the thing. It's almost scripted. It's almost destined to go this way. The way how people are going to be deceived is they're going to say we're under alien attack. And there's going to be a false flag, but then the real alien is going to come down, and that is that old serpent, the great red dragon, being cast down from the Orion's belt. The middle star in Orion's belt, you got 3 stars, 1, 2, 3. The Orion with the that constellation with the bow. Orion, the one that's mimicked by the Great Pyramid of Giza, the 3 pyramids.
Yeah.
Okay, that Orion's belt in the center is the Horsehead Nebula. It's a great big red mass of nebula dust. And what the scientists called it looks like a horse head, right? Yeah. The scientists call that the Horsehead Nebula. But if you look at it without their editing, it actually looks like a head of a dragon. A head of a dragon. And then behind it has long, sharp, like rods that looks like wings. So 4 wings, and then a big red dust cloud of a tail. It's so uncanny of what the Bible says about the great red dragon in space. It's right there in the middle of the Star of Orion. If you can get a modern day like a digital what do you call those things?
Telescope or something?
Yeah, telescope. Yeah, one of those digital modern day telescopes, and you have to go where there's not a lot of street light, like in the woods or something, or if you're camping. And if Orion's belt is up there, look and magnify that thing to Orion's belt, you'll see it. you'll
Yeah.
see
You
the
know,
Horsehead Nebula,
as
but
a
it's
as
actually the dragon.
as a like a skeptical person by nature, the thing that really does attract me to the alien deception concept, I guess, like one of those things is that like there's nothing new under the sun. So like say like well, so for one example, we had COVID, but like a early version of COVID was like swine flu. So an early version of like them laying down the groundwork for the alien deception was like, oh, let's go raid Area 51. You know, these artificial viral things that were introduced to early on are often the precursors to these larger scale events. And yeah, COVID's a precursor to a the next the next rung of another doling out of all these different agenda driven sort of things. So Matt said, do you think that there'll be a toilet paper shortage when the alien deception happens?
Yeah, he's saying if you think there was a toilet paper shortage then, because everybody's going to crap themselves once they realize that what they're being told is actual facts. Now, like I said, it's going to start off with some deception. It's going to
Yeah.
start off like man's thinking we're going to deceive the people, like we usually do,
Yeah.
with all these wars. We're going to deceive them, and then they're going to play along, and they're going to make us heaps of money. But
Yeah.
in the end, like right after that deception that man thinks he's in control of, the Bible says the Antichrist will appear.
Well,
And then,
let me try to point you in another direction, and get you talking on like a different aspect of it.
yeah,
So what would you say to somebody who would, all right, so you know how like in the Bible it said that like, I think it was the first Bible or Genesis, or that's Genesis, right? Is the first, is the creation myth was the first one where God separated the waters from the waters.
yes.
What would you say to people who would say that like space is a lie? Like people who would just say that like there's the ocean, and then above Earth is maybe space is another ocean, and or it's like you look at those like really ancient maps that are maps of the universe, even like any one of them you could pick, the us on a turtle, walking through space or whatever, all these different things. That being said, or there's also people who say that like the aliens are actually demons and angels. There's no such thing as aliens because there's no such thing as space. Now, not asking whether or not you agree with that sort of thing, just taking that as sort of like a as like sort of an essay question, and not asking you to disprove it or prove it or tell whether you agree with it or not. How would that worldview fit into what you just said?
Well, so I come to find out that anybody will believe in anything, but people are smart. They don't have to believe everything, but people are smart. They will realize some truth within the madness. Now, there is the Bible that says the waters within the waters. There's this thing called the great deep out there, guys. And that deep out there is where it's aliens, angels, whatever you want to call them. That's their estate. Their first estate was with God. That's in the third heaven. The second heaven is space, what we call space, which God says there's waters and firmament out there. But what scientists look up at, they see space, they look for water on planets, but what they find is frozenness out there. There was a one time the scientists looked so far deep into the universe past galaxies and saw their own reflection of other stars that they already named like years ago. They're seeing a reflection.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing that.
And the thing is it's not that far fetched. There's this one guy I saw on YouTube. It was so funny. I forget his name, but he was a big prepper. One of his things he used to do, he probably still does, he goes out in his backyard on a clear night day, or a clear night day, clear night. And he takes an infrared camera and he films the stars. what he does, he puts on YouTube, it's infrared. What he does is he'll use a big, powerful laser, and then he'll point where the camera can see on everybody on YouTube can see the laser pointer, and he does this. So you'll see this gray or green laser, and he's just, just pointing out there, just doing squiggly lines in one area. I kid you not, FaZe, and it happened every time. These little freaking things on the screen are floating like fish, and are wondering what the heck that light was, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
I kid you not. It looked like, if you want to call them aliens or not, but they look like they were floating.
Yeah.
Like they were swimming.
Yeah, or even okay, so yeah, I always used to talk about that with me and my dad used to always talk about that, trying to wrap our minds around, like, even if you take the conventional view of space, you imagine that there might be some like comet that comes close enough to a sun. There's very well oceans in space that are like vast, like the size of our galaxy, that are just liquid water that's in space just because it's close. And I mean, Earth is a fine example of liquid water just existing on top of a rock, but the concept of water in space for as far as you might even, it's just the fact that it's in space doesn't necessarily mean that it's cold, that there's any realm of possibility. Now when you say the the second heaven or the third heaven, or all those different things, how would you think that, like, the deepest, darkest places on our ocean on Earth, how they say that, like, we don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean because of the pressure and stuff like that, we can never go down there. Do you think that there's aliens at the bottom of the ocean, or how would that fit in? Would you think that there's actual aliens that just live down there? There's more.
So how I look at that is, I look at everything. I'm not discriminatory. I look at everything. Of course, I got my own convictions and my own beliefs, but I try to view the world through the Bible, and that's my conviction. But I'm not closed-minded to what people are seeing, what they're feeling, what they're just experiencing, because I know that there's something I don't understand that the Bible tries to explain very clearly, yet in words that we're not used to, like aliens and spirits, ghosts. Someone says, a Christian walked up to me one time and said, "Do you believe in ghosts?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You're not supposed to believe in ghosts. You're a Christian." And I said, "Well, there's a thing called the Holy Ghost. So if Jesus gave up the ghosts, the Bible says, then there's ghosts." So when I hear people about, seeing ghosts or evil spirits, I believe them for the most part. Depends on if they're genuine or not. So see what I'm saying? I'm not closed-minded to what people are experiencing, because it's real. I believe.
Right? Yeah, you know what Derek said? He said that China just got a vessel to the deepest part of the ocean. It's interesting. There's like this.
That's probably true.
I mean, I imagine that there's like just the same way that there's you ever watch Doctor Strangelove, the movie?
Doctor Strange?
No, Doctor Strangelove, the movie. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie. Ironically, Stanley Kubrick is the guy who they say faked the moon landing, and all those conspiracy theories about. The other interesting thing that Stanley Kubrick's credited with is the monolith, which now becomes more relevant now with all this viral shit about the different monoliths. You look at any of that news information that we've been seeing on there's like a bunch of different monoliths that have been like appearing and disappearing. Now that I think is more of a controlled viral thing, but regardless, in this movie Doctor Strangelove, which is about like, it's a comedy, but it's about when like all the nukes get blown off because nobody can understand each other basically in the future, just because everybody's like, just nobody can understand each other, so they end up nuking each other. And but what the Russian, one of the famous lines that he says in there, he's like, "We couldn't keep up with the arms race, the peace race, the arms race, the space race, and the peace race." Like the top three. But I'd imagine that, like, there is definitely a race to see who could get to the bottom of the ocean faster, and there's a race to see who could have the highest quantum computing, who could create the first AI. There's a race to see who could go to, set up in Space Force quicker, all these different things are happening, and we actually you know what I mean? It's incomprehensible, really.
So back to what you were saying about what I was saying about the second heaven, the third heaven. Okay, so the first heaven is what man can see. The birds flying around, right? The air. Now, beyond that is the second heaven. That would be space or the deep, the great deep, right? And then the third heaven is what Paul says in the Bible. He couldn't tell whether he was in the body or out of the body. He was like a celestial being. That's where God dwells. Now, but what man can only see is our heaven and what we call space, a vacuum or some kind of, universe, okay? That's what man can see. Now, beyond that would be the quantum physics realm through a black hole or a wormhole. That would be called the sides of the north or the wandering stars the Bible talks about. That when you do math on quantum physics, it all breaks down where it explodes man's mind. But it's the sea, the oceans, the vast oceans that technically, yes, we keep saying it over and over. We know as much as we can about the stars and the planets and around us, but we know very little about the deepest part of our oceans. And that's so true. But that picture shows how we don't know what's down in there for the most part. I mean, we're trying to get down there. But the thing is it's so undiscovered, and we're trying to go out in space or whatever, trying to discover that. We don't even know what's in our ocean. There's parallels with the deep part of our ocean that we haven't discovered yet, not even by satellite. We don't know what's down there. We see the land masses, but we don't know what's down there. That's the same kind of, it's paralleled into space. There's a deep, a great deep in space. It's called the firmaments of the firmament, right? It's a place that we're not supposed to be dwelling. Our habitation is here on Earth. So it's funny that man, this is our dominion. We're supposed to subdue the Earth. Forget trying to save it, guys. The Earth is going to perish eventually. We're here to subdue it, and that's what man's supposed to do, is subdue it. And whether that, that's why it goes in politics. Like, people are trying to save the planet. Forget about it. It's already run its course. We're just in the middle of it. We're in a tiny place in time where we are commanded to subdue it. What happens if we're not going to be here tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? I mean, according to science.
No, you know what it is. Honestly, like, when you say stuff like that, at the very end there, it almost made me think that, like, the new world order, the globalists and stuff, almost have sort of a noble effort to I mean, not to say that, I mean, just to side with them for a minute, just to be the devil's advocate. I mean, aren't they kind of just go, like, when all you and, like, imagine just like America as like a kindergarten classroom, all of us are like having fun smashing our toys together, and then the new world order is kind of like the principal coming in and saying, like, all right, well, we need to take all these resources and really subdue the planet or whatever. Like, I mean, I honestly, like, I'm not to say that, like, we would, U.S. and, like, concepts of freedom and stuff like that all, excluded from that sort of thing. I mean, I think that it is almost interesting that, the American experiment, and a lot of the different aspects of, like, how, like, liberty, or like the founding principles of, honestly, like, when you look at the French Revolution and a lot of these different philosophical modalities that were used to create, like, a lot of the different technological advancements that are now responsible for a lot of the luxuries that we have. I've always sort of had this, like, workshop. I've always been workshopping this sort of idea that, like, the capabilities of the human mind have been, used to a point where now we've reached a plateau, where, robots and everything will, the elite and all these different, sort of agenda, this new agenda. So, no need to name specific operations and stuff like that, but you get where I'm sort of going with that. It's like they, what's that creepy a creepy one where they say like, oh, sustain the world's population under 100,000 people, and then do all these different like they probably want to just like get rid. I mean, it makes sense that they would want to like just get rid of the billions of extra quote unquote extra people on Earth. And not to say that that's not deeply satanic, but at the same time, the Georgia Guidestones, that's what it's called. But it's a interesting thing to think about because like I was just when you were saying all that, I was thinking like, oh well, why don't we all get along? And that's I guess because there's so many different different conflicting interests in all these different countries. So I guess when all the countries get together and they think about human nature and they think about like the chaotic aspects of like how we operate and stuff like that, their inevitable conclusion in their own logic must, and like to play devil's advocate and stuff like that. I mean, the principle, it's like almost from an art of and a yeah, it is artificial, but from like an extraterrestrial point of view, it's like, and you ever hear that thing where like they do like these psychedelic things where they like tap into the quantum realm and they get these directions that are like otherworldly directions, and like and then like a lot of the agenda stuff that like trickles down to us and we see in our lifetime. From a purely objective point of view, when I look at this stuff happening on Earth, and when you can almost like sort of detract yourself from like the discomfort of mask mandates and watching your civil liberties and stuff like that, sort of the rug being pulled out from under you. At the same time, in a what's it called, like maybe a quantum. If you look at it from like a quantum perspective, you think about like aliens, or like we really don't know what the issues are. I don't think that the real issues of the world are like global warming. I don't think that global warming is really I think any issue that we are presented with is a largely artificial one. I think much of the issues that are actually facing the planet are probably of biblical proportions, like so much the same that you say. And I think that really the only way to actually understand our place in the world definitely does. You have you're wise to look at scripture and what our ancestors have told us and stuff like that, because they're if you want to understand the future, you just look at the past type of thing. So yeah, it is fascinating to hear like that sort of, I don't know, but like here's a question. What do you think the thing is? Like what do you think, like not the meaning of life, but like, or if it is the meaning of life, if the meaning of life is the answer to the question, then what would you say? But like what do you like it's like why are we here? What is the thing? Like what not what motivates the elites, not what like the microscope or macro, just why, like just like what's the answer to the universal question, why? Where would your answer to that be?
So
You could take that whatever way you want. I don't know.
I've asked this question with myself when I was 13 years old. One day I was looking in the mirror in the bathroom of my dad's house, and I was just like looking at the definition of my muscles, and I'd be like, yeah, look at that, I worked it out,
Yeah, like a 13-year-old.
Yeah, popping zits on my face,
Yeah.
But it literally hit me. Like I started looking at myself. I looked beyond what I was trying to look at myself, and like vanity or whatever you want to call it. I was just like, what's up? And I really looked at myself. And then I looked at my hands, and then I looked at myself again. And I literally just forgot everything. I said, what am I? Why am I? What is this? It's like, where now the profounding thing is, how did I get to think that way? And I think that was one of my steps, like awakenings. Something happened. Something did that to me. I'm a conscious observer. I was observing myself, and all of a sudden I started looking at myself differently. I think everybody has their moments like that. But a lot of those moments fade real
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, I remember. Now you reminded me of mine. I remember looking at myself. Oh, not. I don't think I was looking at myself. I just remember I was in my dad's house. I was in the living room, and I just mine though. Mine didn't come in the form of a question. I just remember being a sense of euphoria struck me, and I am me. I was like, and I was just baffled by the concept of like that I am a me. You know, I'm me, and that stuck with me for the rest of my life. I'll never forget that. I mean, I forget it from time to time, but stories like that sort of do remind me of it.
So I didn't know at the time, but I was basically asking myself for the answers, and I didn't have them, right? I remember that day. I remember that day, and I never let go of that day. But I continued to live my life how I was drawn to things. I was drawn to things, what I wanted, what I felt was right, all these things. I didn't see it in that perspective phase when I was younger. I look at it now because I have knowledge and wisdom now. Before, I was lost. I was literally lost. I remember the state, but I didn't know I was lost until now. I literally searched for truth. I even asked my friends, my dad, everyone. I said, "How do you make it in the world?" Because I was like really insufficient with establishing ground, with friendship, with people, the right people, how to basically put it in other words, bloom and or whatever you want to call it for a man, for a woman, a blossom, whatever. I knew I was restricted, and I knew I didn't have what it took to make it. And I think the question came again: what am I? It was almost like, who am I? I knew who I was. They called me Sean. You know,
Script Skynet.
Script Skynet. It's Sean. And but that is something to identify myself with my father. My father called me Sean. And then my friends called me Sean.
What was your dad's name?
Brad.
Oh, wasn't Sean. I have my dad's middle name. So my middle name's Paul. My dad's name was Paul. So it's interesting when you go by your dad's name through your whole life, because I definitely resonate with that. Your father called, that is a biblical concept too, though. It's like a familial crossover sort of thing where you're like, that was the name that my father called me. I don't want to get you off topic.
Yeah, no. The thing is basically what it is, what I'm saying is, the basic fundamental of life is to know where you're at and to discover yourself right then and there. If you had that question in your mind, it's time to start searching for truth. It's time to start searching for answers. It's really answers, but it's actually in the name of truth. No one could give me any truth. But the truth was, I was a son. I was a young guy that was freaking crazy. I did what I wanted. I got what I did things to get
the
my
Terminator
way.
theme?
I'm sorry, what?
Was that the Terminator theme song?
It is, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you're all about that. That's like your profile picture.
Yeah. But so the most basic fundamentals about self-awareness is that someone brought you into this life, whether you know what the life is or not. That's up to you to discover what your purpose is. Now, I think there is a supernatural thing, a connection about us to something, right? Whether you call it God or whether you call it science, I have to decipher which one is it. Is it God or science? And then when you go down that path, when you grow up, you'll figure the two go hand in hand, actually. But I really had to discover I wanted to be more control of me than sporadic. And I think understanding from a basic fundamental, I have a family. I'm called a son. I have a father. I have a mother. I have brothers. Was the basic thing I could understand first, just like Abraham in the Bible. God explains things through Abraham, which is a father of many nations, by the way. Very crazy, but father of many nations, that God revealed himself through his it said he called on him by name, said, Abram, from now on I'll call you Abraham because you're going to be a father of many nations. Okay. So he told him to look up to the stars, and he looked up the stars, and this is in Babylon, by the way. Look at the stars. That's the numerous of your seed shall be. We're talking about Abraham is going to have a nation blessed by God. Now think about this. We're not in that time.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the timeline of man, the Bible actually lays out 6,000 years that man has been having a conversation with God. Ever since, if you want, believe it or not, Adam and Eve to now is roughly 6,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
4004 BC, 2020. So give or take a few years off or whatever.
And Moses is probably out of like the Judeo-Christian. I really do get annoyed when people talk about the what's it called when the people of the books taught, the followers of the Judeo-Christian magicians criticize that talk of like, oh, the world is like 10,000 years old or something like that, because when you think about it, like Moses is like I always made sense of it by thinking that like recorded history from our tradition, or from the three branches of that line of thinking, or sort of like the true modern world are that old. I wouldn't imagine that they meant by any stretch of the recorded history, actual history of Earth in itself is
recorded. Check this out. Okay, I see people are like, I see Matt's like, I think our timelines are off. But here's the thing. If no matter where you're at, whether you're a Bible believer or scholar, or a person in science, and you use, like carbon dating and all that, here are the facts. Are you ready for this? It's going to blow your guys' mind. When did man pick up a pencil? Is when history started.
Yeah.
You got to think about that. When did man pick up a pencil? And that's how far it goes back, man.
Yeah, I love all that old that. So what did you say your ideas on the show Ancient Aliens? What would you rate that show?
So Robert Don Vonnegut, I think that's his name. He's the father of that thinking. Now, he went to Pumapunku and all those things, and really studied the how those megalithic structures were cut and carved. He with such a precision, you couldn't get a piece of paper through the megalithic stone structures that weigh 50,000 tons, or and when you look at it that way, you find this is where I call them the bad Christians, which is the bad Christians are the scholarly Christians that really don't read the Bible. They basically say, okay, we know the stories. We're trying to prove that Egyptology is right, and Israel in the Old Testament is wrong because it's a history book. So what they do is they study and say, well, these are the kings of the pharaohs, and the Giza pyramid was made as a tombstone, but they never found a dead body in the Giza pyramid where they had this sarcophagus in the middle. Now, those structures, he saw a common theme, whether it be in Babylon or Pumapunku, or all these ancient structures, they had a common theme that they were built not by man. Period. All the ancient discoveries of under the ground, layers of ground. Come on, man. A hammer and a copper chisel.
I know, I hate all that shit. Or just the worst one is when they try to say slaves built it and shit like that. Hey, I'm gonna go take a piss. Just keep talking. Take the floor. I'll be right back.
All right, and okay, so yeah, so I mean, another thing is going to blow your guys' mind is there's something that that I believe there's a first of all there's something on YouTube, and there's a lot of theories of where ancient Atlantis is. Okay, now I do believe that this Earth had a great flood, like in the biblical stories, the deluge, Noah's flood, and all that. It's recorded all through ancient Mesopotamia, Turkey, and all these places. But before the flood, our landmass looks different. We had ancient civilizations that lived where the sea is today, where the ocean is literally covering up large land masses of where ancient civilization used to live, which is phenomenal because you'll see the evidence off the shores of Japan, ancient structures that really, when you look at the structure, it's like one solid stone carved, and it looks like a weird puzzle. But I mean, I saw it. There's like this diver, looking at it and everything with coral and all that, and it's huge, freaking huge. But there's on YouTube. Forget the name of the guy, but look up if you guys are interested in it. The true spot of Atlantis is where the Sahara Desert is today. The Sahara Desert is in the northwest part of Africa. And there's a giant circular mountain ridge that's not sand, but it's a mountain ridge. And they literally saw it from space where there's this giant structure of a circle with landmass in the middle of it.
What?
And it's in the shape of ancient, it's in the shape where water would hold, just like, forget the Greek guy that was talking about it. I don't know. I don't know who the ancient Greek guy was, Plato, or I don't know his name, but he was talking about Atlantis and where and how it was formed and everything, about rings around it and a mountain ridge on the north side of it. I kid you guys not, dude. It's there. It's there. And if you want to look at the Sahara Desert, why does it look like a Sahara sand desert? Because it used to be the ocean floor. Ocean floor. And that's why there's discovering large cities, ancient cities under the ocean, because they used to be above the ocean. After the great
cities are trippy. My bad, I'm back.
After the great deluge, after the fountains of the deep broke out, which is arguably the Pangea, if you want to call it that way, and the rain, for the first time the Bible recorded rain in Noah's time, and they didn't know what rain was, but the great rain and the combination of Pangea, which is, granted, scientists say Pangea was a long time ago, but it's not that far-fetched that it happened around the same time Noah. It changed the land masses. It changed it changed everything. Think of a massive flood they're finding sea life on the Mount of Ararat. Think about that. You go to the highest point of the mountain, and find sea creature life. How do you explain that?
Huh.
If you try to just remove what some of the Bible says about our planet, you try to get rid of those things because, that's a fairy tale. How do you explain sea life on the top of Mount Ararat? How do you do that?
You know how many big like mountains there are in the ocean? Like the I don't know if any of you know off the top of your head. I'd really like to hear it. Like the equivalent to like a Mount Everest that's like in the ocean right now. Like I'm pretty sure the biggest mountain in the ocean's like twice the size of Everest or something like that.
I wouldn't know that, but I mean, when you see islands, those are mountains or volcanic mountains, like
Yeah, I know it's
Hawaii.
tough by definition the way that they classify it, I guess. The way that I wonder what the maybe a better way to put it would be like I wonder if you had a measuring stick, like the biggest measuring stick in the world, if you went from like the highest peak to the lowest point in the bottom of the ocean, like what's the actual
That's
size?
well, the navel of the world is Fuji Mountain, and that's arguably the most hottest spot for UFO activity, and touches the highest part of our skies.
Huh. Yeah, I always wonder about that
I
kind of thing.
kid you not. There's stories from Japanese village and Tokyo citizens that go there and literally commit suicide because the magnetism from that mountain is so strong it drives you to suicide.
Oh, the Mariana Trench. Wait, the what drives you to suicide? The what was it?
There's
The
so much magnet.
magnet.
Yeah, that mountain is like magnetized, and it draws men's minds crazy if you stay out there too long.
Huh. Yeah, I believe it with all the what I always think about is like when I sleep next to my phone and like or like next to a smartphone, don't you ever feel that like I don't know, I feel like I have like weird dreams when I like sleep with my phone next to me because it's the same kind of
And you remember them.
yeah, or just you just I don't know, I try to avoid it, but I do it way too often. It's not as special as it was when I started. Maybe that part of my brain's fried now, but
Dude, we're gonna have to have more talks like this, but I gotta go. But the more you ask me questions like this, the more I start seeing. There's a ton of questions on these comments that have really good points and questions, dude.
yeah, I know. It's a good I mean,
this is gonna be sick.
yeah, we'll get some good
Having talks like this.
yeah, I know you got a lot of information. This is like all stuff that I've like seen in documentaries and then or on like on the old golden age of YouTube when it was all this type of information, and then it's like
Dude,
you go on there now and it's all
I got
Jimmy
knowledge
Kimmel.
that Christians don't even talk about that are from ancient Christian faith, dude. It'd blow your mind.
Yeah, like
And
Book of
it's hard to
Enoch
talk
shit.
about because no one believes that because they call it junk.
Yeah, I know. That's
They're deep,
unfortunate.
man. They're deep.
Well, I think we hit our top viewers of this video was 23 people at once, and we pretty much broke 500 people were listening all throughout the 1 hour and 37 minutes we've been
That's
doing it.
freaking
So.
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty. People seem interested. I mean, it's just for a first, one-off thing that we didn't even plan, and half of it was just you in your car, which I'm sure people weren't really excited about. Just this like you sitting in your chair with your whole setup and all your audio, everything all going good is definitely. We'll bring on guests and stuff in the future and everything.
Yeah,
so.
I think we talked more about questions of what's going on more than we did about cryptocurrency and DigiByte. But I think it's always healthy to get another person's perspective. Especially, you never want to be closed-minded, guys.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think is that.
I mean,
there's
certain things you want to be closed-minded to, but you never want to discard what you hear until you just look into it yourself.
Well, I think us having these conversations that like are far-reaching are also interconnected with cryptocurrency. Because if we wanted to have more of a rich conversation about crypto, the fact that we've discussed all these like woo-woo or even just deeply heavy-minded sort of conversations, and then bringing it back to encryption and blockchain and stuff like that does sort of give another dimension to the whole thing. So I think it's important, especially with audience building and stuff like that, because then the people who are here today, come, and people don't want to just hear us talk about talk shop all day anyway. So definitely.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go. We'll definitely do this again. And yeah.
All right, man. Yeah, I'll see you later.
I'm all for it.
Have a fun dinner.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, man. Yeah, peace out.
Later, guys.
Well, that was Script Skynet. So if you guys want quantum crypto, yes, yeah, I like that. Quantum crypto. I like that title. I think that'll be the title of me and his when I have Script Skynet on there. Maybe we'll call it quantum crypto. Um, just I mean, obviously, neither of us run a. Well, I mean, I don't run a cryptocurrency news aggregator. I'm just a humble YouTuber, so I feel at liberty to discuss any topic that comes to my mind. All right, man. Yeah, I'll see you later, cryptocurrently. Um, I'm gonna run as well. I'm just giving sort of a closing statement here as well. The current Bitcoin value now. Bitcoin currently coming in at $19,329 at the current time of recording this live stream. Let's look up some Bitcoin news. Bring this back to cryptocurrency for those of you who are interested. I would say that the price of Bitcoin is going to fluctuate between its current 19,300 to the 19,100, and at maybe at the top it might be 19,400, but we will have to see. Yeah, Mr. Cotton. Yeah, let's. Oh God, that's such a weird profile picture, bro. But yeah. Why don't you come on the show and chat with us in the future? Might be fun. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure if you're watching this or if you're tuned in right now, make sure that you subscribe, put on post notifications, follow me on Twitter. Maybe I'll put a link to my Twitter just so that if you guys, I have so many Twitters. Just because it's difficult to connect to people. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in coming on the show or just having a conversation with me, being friends behind the scenes, getting in on the ground floor, you can connect with me at this Twitter. There's my Twitter. Yeah, so other than that, that was a good conversation. I feel fatigued though. I mean, it's nothing I'm going to get into by myself now. Pretty much we covered all the different topics. So with all that being said, see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.